Yeah, net metering, at least in the United States, it's a historic accident because it came about because people were installing solar panels on their roofs. And for a few people, solar panels were extremely expensive, and the utilities, the distribution companies, didn't know what to do with them, especially if they had excess energy. So what they did is they did what was simple, which is to say, okay, anything you put in the system, we'll just take it off your bill. So they were being paid a full retail rate for what was basically an intermittent energy service. But it was easy. And we didn't have instruments like smart meters to measure inputs and outputs. We didn't have any really strong market signals to say what is the market price for the energy. And there were so few of these installations that nobody really cared. So it wasn't even policy, it was just a historic accident and the shortcomings in the tariff structure and technology that led to it. To the extent that anybody thought about policy, it was, well, solar's a nice thing, and so we can encourage it by doing this. But that's almost an afterthought. That's not what really set it off. It was just easy. What happened over time, of course, is that, well, first off, the cost of solar started to decline, the panels. But the other thing that was happening over time was there were people that noticed these tariff flaws and saw a way to take commercial advantage of them. And so what the tariff flaw is, of course, we're too, well, some of the problems that led to original net metering we resolved. We have smart meters now. And in the US, they're very widely deployed. Not everybody has them, but they're pretty widely spread. So we can do things we couldn't do before. Secondly, and this is different than Brazil, in most of the US, not the entire country, we have highly organized markets. So we know what the energy price is at thousands of points on the grid in real time. So when solar produces, we know what its energy value is because and it's transparent information, it's public information. And so we could do things in a much more sophisticated way than we did before. The other problem is the tariffs themselves were primitive, in the sense that in theory they were two-part tariffs. There were the fixed cost and the variable cost, but in reality, the volumetric, the variable cost, was where almost all the rates were recovered. And the fixed cost was really just the cost of billing. It really didn't cover fixed costs. It wasn't intended to. And there are there's some policy reasons why that was the case, but we can set that aside. But the problem was when marketers of solar panels started looking at wow, this is a great opportunity. We've got this net metering thing going on. We have tariffs that don't reflect what the costs actually are or what the market values actually are. What they reflect is just the full retail rate. So what we can do is let's keep on net metering and we can sell. And of course, as the price of solar panels declines, and it's about 100 times cheaper today than it was 30 years ago when net metering appeared, or 35 years ago, what we can do now is we can keep a lot of that money and we don't have to pass it on to anybody. So, if net metering were regulated, like other forms of generation are, regulated in one of two ways, either based on cost or based on markets, market discipline and competition, which isn't regulation, but it's a form of price discipline, the price of solar would be a lot less than it is through this artificial mechanism of net metering. And so that's kind of where it came about. It's a historic accident. And what happened was as long as they had a negligible role in the marketplace, nobody paid much attention to it. But then as solar started picking up, then people started paying attention because it was causing real distortion.